Thank you so much, Ryan. So today, Debbie, Melanie, myself, and Steve will be facilitating today's training. So Steve, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure, thanks, Christy. Good morning, everyone. My name's Steve Audie. I've been on the Ginnie Mae team for over 20 years. My focus is primarily on Ginnie Mae's reporting and feedbacks, pool and loan reporting for the MBS portfolio, and especially on the technical software side. I'm also involved on the outflow of data from RFS to Ginnie Mae's investor community, also known as data disclosure. I'm happy to be presenting to you today.
Thank you so much, Steve. So using the annotation tool or the chat box, could you let me know your takeaways from Monday's session? And also if you have any unresolved questions. Okay, good. I see eNote. Yeah, I think Melanie talked about eNote a lot on Monday. Investor reporting timelines, reporting deadlines, keep Appendix 619 handy. Yes, those are all wonderful. Yep, deadlines. Our second and fourth business day, 7 p.m. Eastern Time deadlines. Okay, we'll give that just a few more seconds. Okay, Ryan, if you could export this slide, please. Okay, thanks so much. In session 1, I covered the issuer's primary responsibility and subservicing partnerships. Debbie covered the resources and reference documentations available to issuers on the Ginnie Mae website and touched on some of the Ginnie Mae terms. I covered the monthly reporting timeline, including the major deadlines for missing pool and loan data and when critical alerts should be cleared. Melanie explained the e-notification process. Today, we will focus on these 3 modules. We will dive right into RFS monthly reporting of pool and loan data. In this module, we will explain the types of RFS records and explain which fields issuers are responsible for reporting and editing. It is very important that 100% of pool and loan data be reported by 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the second business day in RFS. Also, critical exceptions must be cleared by 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the fourth business day. The best way to know that 100% of the pool and loan data is reported on the second business day is to view the summary screen and ensure that the reported loans and pools balance to the expected loans and pools. Also, you should view the exception tab and ensure there are no outstanding RFS 111 missing pool exceptions and no outstanding RFS 204 missing loan exceptions. The 4 RFS records are pool, loan, sensitive, and various, which we will cover in detail over the next section of slides. Ginnie Mae MBS Guide Appendix 619, which Debbie discussed on Monday, gives a full description of each record. This appendix can be found on the ginniemay.gov website and also on the link provided at the bottom of the slide. The pool record contains data elements related to the Ginnie Mae pool and is required each month. One record reports one pool. Therefore, if you have 10 active pools, then your RFS file should have 10 pool records. The information in the P record represents the monthly cumulative pool status as of your Ginnie Mae cutoff date. The P record also includes unscheduled principal, which is liquidations, which are payoffs, buyouts, and loss met, to name a few. Curtailments, adjustments, and claim funds are also considered to be unscheduled principal. These funds roll to the pool record from the loan record and reduces the security RPB. Page 7 of Appendix 619 displays the P record layout. Also, at the very bottom of the screen, a sample of the P record is displayed. It is a string of text with specific start and end points for each field reported in the P record. Please note that some of the fields are signed fields showing a plus or a minus sign. Important RFS calculations. On the pool record, the 7 below fields are calculated for purposes of editing, for loan and pool accounting, and for 11710A pool summary data. The security RPB is reported by the issuer. The 7 fields calculated by RFS and not reported by the issuer are opening security RPB, scheduled principal, interest due security holders, cash due security holder, the calculated closing security RPB, guarantee fee, and liquidations in full FIC. Issuers report adjustment to FIC and closing FIC. RFS calculates and compares the adjustment and closing FIC behind the scenes. Please raise your hand if you're familiar with the 11710A. Oh, that is fantastic. Look at all those hands. Okay, if we could clear the hands, please. The pool record has a total of 25 fields. This slide shows fields 1 through 9. The pool record always begins with the letter P. The 2 fields that generate the most exceptions are bolded. Pool FIC has to agree to the cumulative active loan FIC. The weighted average interest rate must be reported on Ginnie Mae 2 pools. This shows fields 10 through 17. The final security RPB is the value that RFS releases to the CPTA after 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the 4th business day. And this shows fields 18 through 25, which is the end of the P record. Please note that fields 20 through 23 only apply to multifamily pools. The loan record contains data elements related to active loans within a Ginnie Mae pool and is required each month. One record reports one loan. The information in the L record represents the monthly cumulative loan status as of your Ginnie Mae cutoff date. The L record indicates reporting liquidations on a loan within the report period. A ULID, which is the unique loan ID, is assigned by Ginnie Mae and needs to be input into your servicing system for reporting to RFS. ULIDs are posted in e-notification as a text file, as was discussed on Monday during the e-notification section. Page 12 of Appendix 619 displays the L record layout. At the very bottom of this screen, a sample of the L record is displayed. Like the pull record, it is a string of text with specific start and end points for each field reported on the L record. The loan record has a total of 29 fields. This slide shows fields 1 through 8. The loan record always begins with the letter L. The 3 fields that generate the most exceptions are bolded. Case number, first payment date, and loan maturity date should all match the reported values on the HUD 11706. Case number layout for each agency can be found in APM 02-17. The first payment date and loan maturity date have different reporting requirements for modified loans. This shows fields 9 through 15. The loan OPB must agree to the original note even if the loan has been modified. The last installment date should be reported when a full P&I payment has been received. This shows fields 16 through 21. All collections of interest and principal should be reported in fields 18 and 19 when collected within the reporting cycle. If you collect more than one payment within the reporting cycle, a total must be reported in fields 18 and 19. And this shows fields 22 through 29, which is the end of the L record. The loan UPB must be reported even if the loan is being liquidated. The liquidation information is in fields 24 through 28. I'll now turn it over to Steve.
Thank you, Christy. Okay, Christy just covered the required records within RFS, meaning the pool record and the loan record. I will now go through the sensitive record and the various record, which are optional reporting records. So let's start off with the sensitive loan record. This is static loan information that is reported only when there is a change to incorrect or incomplete data initially reported. Okay, this may also include personal identifiable information, PII, because it does contain the Social Security number of the borrower. Page 20 of Appendix VI-19 is where you'll find the specification for the sensitive loan record. And you could see at the bottom of this page, similar to what Christy presented with the P record and the L record, the S record has a sample here of what it might look like with some dummy data in there. All right, these are some of the fields that you'll see in the sensitive loan record. If you notice that there is some of the same information that you'll find on the loan record, including the unique loan ID, but this record includes identifying information about the property, the street address, and then Ginnie Mae provides up to 5 different borrowers with their SSN, first name, last name, on the sensitive loan record. You'll see now in this next slide, these are the remaining 4 borrowers. So we provide up to 5 different borrowers for a loan. Okay. Now on the various loan record, this also is an optional loan record that also contains static information about data related to the loan. It is reported on the 11706, the schedule of pool mortgages, and should only be reported to RFS when there is a change, especially if there's incorrect information that was initially submitted on the 11706. Now, many of the various items are controlled fields, and I'll talk a little bit about that. Ginnie Mae is really identifies some of the items, about 3/5 of the items in the various loan record that are controlled items, and these are suspendable items if changed. There's a process that we'll talk about in a little bit related to the suspense of a loan record and what that looks like for resolving those, for accepting or rejecting those controlled fields. So page 23 of Appendix VI 19 is where you'll find the various loan record, and you can see the sample there at the bottom. All various loan records begin with a V, and you can see some of the data that's listed there. Let's look at the various loan record itself on the next slide. As I mentioned, here are some of the examples of the various loan record. You could see loan purpose, living units, loan to value. You see those in the field name column that have an asterisk. These are considered controlled items. So if there is a change, then there will be a suspension on that item. For example, loan purpose. If on the 11706 you have a loan purpose on a loan of a 1, which is a regular purchase, and that's incorrect, you can report your loan purpose on the various loan record to RFS and report a 2, which is a refinance. Okay, and that's the various loan record is your vehicle for correcting incorrect information that was initially reported on the 11706. All right. One note here on field 8, the credit score. Ginnie Mae is looking for the credit score at time of purchase, or at time of pooling, that is, and Ginnie Mae does not want updated credit scores throughout the life of the loan. Okay, so if the credit score was 632 at time of pooling, that is the information that Ginnie Mae is looking for on the various loan record. All right, let's look at some other fields within the various loan record. Loan buy down code, down payment assistance flag, combined LTV is also here. And then we also provide for pre-modified fields, pre-modified first installment due date, the pre-modified OPB, pre-modified interest rate, and the pre-modified loan maturity date. Now there are different rules that you can see here in the description. If you have a pre-modified, it must be a modified loan, loan purpose 3 or 4. And these are the last set of fields within the various loan record: first time home buyer indicator, third party origination type, upfront MIP, annual MIP, and loan origination date. Now you'll notice some of the fields do allow for an asterisk to be reported. What an asterisk does is it allows the issuer to remove data from that field. So if you have an upfront MIP rate and you did not intend to have that, you can report an asterisk in that field, and that will remove the previous upfront MIP rate. There are fields that do not have an asterisk. Once they're reported, you need to have a value. An example here is the third-party origination type. It cannot be deleted from a previously reported value. Okay. Okay. Now, we talked a little bit about the various suspense process earlier, and this will detail it for you from the time of reporting through the completion of the process. Various data is initially entered into Ginnie Mae systems at GinnieNet at pool delivery, as mentioned earlier. Then RFS gets an update of the data from GinnieNet, and then if an issuer notices that that data needs to be corrected, item 3 there, you use the RFS various input to correct or change that data, but only on an exception basis. Okay, we see some issuers report all of their loans with a V record every month, and that's not the intended purpose of the various loan record. It's only supposed to be for a one-off exception basis when there is a correct or a change needed. What happens on those control fields, number 4 there, is RFS suspends the various record, and if you have at least one suspense, you're notified by RFS through e-notification that you have RFS various loan suspension items. So check that e-notification, make sure you're seeing those, and then you respond to those. The issuer provides what the issuer does is they get a download from the matching and suspense module. You can see all the suspense items that you have for RFS, and then you respond to those with an accept or a reject. Now, all of the you may be familiar with the matching and suspense process where you respond to a single item, let's say a case number suspension. We're going to deal with this on Friday, but just touching base on this now, that's a one-by-one field suspension. For the various loan suspension process, all of the items in the various record will be provided with the loan and the various. The loan is what was on the record prior to the suspension, and the various is what was reported by the issuer on that issuer month. All of the items in the various column for a loan need to be accepted or rejected all as one. So, for example, if you have a loan that has been suspended, a various loan that has been suspended, and the loan purpose is something that you did want to change, but the LTV is something that you did not want to change, then you must reject the entire record. And that your accept accepts all of the various records or the various responses, and a reject rejects all of the various responses. There's no parsing out one versus another field. So that's a little overview on the various suspense process. Um, Once you've addressed all of the various suspense items in your download with an accept or a reject, then you email that suspense file to ginnymayvarious@deloitte.com. This is due by the 20th calendar day of every month, and at the end of the month, uh, there are no holdovers to the next month, meaning if you have not responded, then your record will be rejected because you haven't overtly said, yes, please accept these suspense items. All right, that is an overview of the suspense process for various, and that completes the various suspense record. Now, let's use the annotation tool here to kind of review the 4 records that we just touched on. So place a sticker on the record that contains static information. Let's have participation from everyone here. This will be a good way of practicing our annotations. So I'll give you a little extra time here. Make sure everybody can vote. All right, very good. Yes, both the sensitive and the various loan record have static information. Okay, which record includes unscheduled principal? Good, very good. Yes, primarily people are voting for the pool record, which is correct. That's what Christy mentioned as she went through the pool record. The recordings on the loan record are also correct technically. There is unscheduled loan loan information, let's say a curtailment. So those are acceptable as well. All right, third one. Only report if there's a change to the data that was initially submitted on the form 11706. So this is a small set of data. The key here is only. Very good. The various loan record is correct. All right, and finally, represents the end of the report period status of the loan. Great. Excellent. You all did very well on this this little quiz, and I'll turn this back over to Christy.
Thank you, Steve. In this module, we will discuss the calculations that RFS performs, define common exceptions and summarization alerts. And we will also list the steps on how to view and download your exception feedback as a CSV file. RFS is the reporting and feedback system. Both pool and loan level information may be entered online in RFS, or a file may be uploaded. Any information input into RFS is subject to editing. This upload exception feedback is provided for any file that are accepted and can be viewed in the functional acknowledgement screen in RFS and also within eNotification. This is the initial edit process. Data uploaded or entered manually online will be processed by RFS and will be summarized only if 90% of the data has been reported and or accepted. The summarize process performs the accounting calculations for the pools and loans within the issuer's portfolio. Summarization occurs automatically when the issuer has reported 90% of the pool and loan data. Also, there is a nightly bulk summarization for all issuers meeting the 90% criteria to include any data manually entered online in RFS. If 90% of the data was not accepted, the summarization process was not completed, the summary screen will not display correct values. The issuer should review their exception feedback. First, navigate to MGM, to Tools and PAEF for exception feedback, then to the summary screen. This provides a snapshot of the monthly reporting activity and total number of outstanding exceptions. Then you would click on the Exceptions tab and at the top of the screen to display a snapshot of the outstanding exceptions. By clicking the Download tab and clicking Download Exceptions, this will download a full list of outstanding exceptions as a CSV file. A best practice would be to save this download of exceptions daily. Summarization performs important calculations in RFS, which include the number of pools expected and the number of pools reported by the issuer, the number of loans expected, and the number of loans reported by the issuer, loan level delinquency based on the current reporting period from field 3 of the file header record, and the last installment date from field 12 of the loan record. The pool FIC is compared to the loan level reported FIC, and the principal and interest collected, which is summarized from the loan level. Summarization generates exceptions when inconsistencies exist between the pool and loan level reporting and occurs when 90% of the data is reported. As a reminder, there is a nightly bulk summarization for all issuers that have reported at least 90% of their pool and loan data. This shows a snippet of Appendix 619 with possible exception messages for each field. Please turn on the annotation tool. Oh, well, it's already on. Using the annotation tool, place a sticker on the RFS 111 exception. An E-level RFS 111 exception explains that there is no activity reported reported for the current reporting period, which means the pool is missing. This exception would display on the pool screen in RFS and would appear on the exception download CSV file. To fix the RFS 111 exception, a pool would have to be manually entered into RFS on the pool screen, or a file would have to be uploaded that included the missing pool. Also, summarization alerts are italicized in Appendix 619 and only appear in RFS once 90% of the issuer's data is reported. Wonderful. I love all the stickers on there. That is great. Okay, page 1 and 5 of Appendix 619 explains the severity level of exceptions. If you receive an error or E-level exception, then the record did not load into RFS. E-level exceptions can occur on any of the 4 types of records, which are pool, loan, sensitive, and various. The RFS 111 miss and pull exception must be cleared by 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the 2nd business day. Other outstanding E-level exceptions are expected to be cleared by 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the 4th business day. Critical or C-level exceptions are related to remittance and/or disclosure data. These only occur to pool and loan level reporting. The C-level RFS 204 missing loan exception must be cleared by 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the 2nd business day. Other outstanding C-level exceptions are expected to be cleared by 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the 4th business day. High or H-level exceptions are related to pool and/or loan level reporting. Medium or M-level exceptions are related to loan matching and/or suspense. Low or L-level exceptions may occur on any of the information on the 4 types of records. Using the annotation tool, please place a sticker on the critical severity level. Okay, wonderful. The error and critical exceptions should be cleared either on the 2nd or 4th business day, and the high, medium, and low exceptions should be addressed by the 10th business day. Wonderful. I love all the participation. I know the stickers are kind of fun. Okay. To access the summary screen in RFS, you would log in to My Ginnie Mae, click Tools, and click on PAEF for exception feedback, which is displayed in the red box. RFS exception feedback should be accessed on a daily basis, as new exceptions may generate after the nightly bulk summarization once 90% of the issuer's data is reported. The exception feedback summary screen is displayed. This screen shows a roll-up of all of the pool and loan level information that has been accepted from a file upload or manual entry for the current month. Note, the drop-down box will display the current month's reporting period and 17 months of prior data. You may only update the current month's data. If you are missing current data, this is where you would find a difference in the reported versus the expected loans and pools. On this particular issuer, there are 95 reported loans and 99 expected loans. Therefore, the issuer is missing 4 loans. There are 14 reported pools and 19 expected pools on the bottom half of the screen. Therefore, this issuer is missing 5 pools. Using the annotation tool, please indicate on the screen where you would see the number of outstanding exceptions. Wonderful. Yes, it's right up there where all those wonderful stickers are. Yes, there are 14 outstanding pool exceptions and 142 outstanding loan exceptions. A quick story. An issuer contacted Ginnie Mae Issuer Support stating she received a call from the investor concerning delinquent loans. The issuer stated they didn't have any delinquent loans. We researched the reported data in RFS and determined that the loans were not delinquent. The issuer reported the current month's payment, but did not report the correct last installment paid date in RFS. We viewed the RFS summary screen, and there were 12 delinquent loans, 12 loans delinquent 1 month based on the last installment date. This is why you should compare your data on the RFS summary screen to your internal servicing system as soon as possible. Here's the exception tab, which displays the outstanding exceptions. If you are missing pool or loans, this is where you would see the missing RFS 111 pool exception, which is 5, and the outstanding 4 missing RFS 204 exceptions. Sometimes you may notice a difference between the missing loan count on the summary screen and the exception screen. This difference in the missing loan count occurs when a pool has not been reported. Once the pool is reported, the RFS 204 exceptions will generate. Also, this particular issuer has other outstanding exceptions which will need to be worked. There are 2 ways to receive your pool and loan level exceptions. Issuers may go to the Exceptions tab from the PAEF module in RFS and click on the blue link to view them through the Exceptions tab. Or the issuer may download a CSV file. Downloading a full list of the exceptions is recommended. Using the annotation tool, place a sticker on which one of these 2 options that you use or you will use most frequently to view exceptions. Wonderful. I do see that most people will download. You know, we do recommend that you download them, you know, so that you can save that as an Excel, you know, so that you do have a list of the exceptions, you know, because once you clear them, you know, they do fall off of that download and off of the pool or loan screen within RFS. To download exceptions into a CSV file, navigate to the PAEF Exception Feedback module and click on the Download tab. Then click on the Download Exceptions in the dark blue bar. To download a list of all of your outstanding exceptions, click the Download button at the bottom of the screen. Also, if your organization is a subservicer, you may check the Download Subserviced Issuers box on the right side of the page to download all active exceptions for all of the issuers that you subservice for. After clicking the Download button at the bottom of the previous slide, the instructions page will display. Follow the instructions by right-clicking on the Download Exception CSV file. If you select the Open in New Window option, this is the box on the right corner of the screen. The CSV file opens and will display all of your outstanding exceptions. Please save this file as Excel. After querying any exceptions, issuers should always save and summarize the pool activity by clicking the Save and Summarize Pool button at the bottom of the pool screen. If you have reported or updated a loan record, the Calculated Pool Security RPB may change and create new exceptions after the nightly bulk summarization. A quick story. On the 3rd business day, if an issuer liquidates a loan and does not save and sum the pool, then the morning of the 4th business day, the issuer will have multiple critical exceptions on the pool record. The issuer will need to clear these critical exceptions prior to 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the 4th business day. Okay, Ryan, if you could post the first polling question, please. Okay, thank you. So how are summarization alerts identified in 619 of the pool and loan data? I know I went over that a little bit earlier. We would love to have everyone participate. It looks like we've got about 70 participants in today's session. Okay, we'll give it a few more seconds. Ryan, if you could end the poll and broadcast the results, please. Thank you. Okay, it looks like we had 44% of the people that voted get it correct. The correct answer is they are italicized for the summarization alerts in Appendix 619. Ryan, if we could have the next question, please. Okay. So what percent of data must load for summarization to occur? Oh, Ryan, what happened to our question? Oh, no. There we go. Okay, there we go. Thank you, Ryan. Okay, we'll give it a few more seconds. Okay, Ryan, if you would end the poll and broadcast, please. Thank you. So it looks like we had 67% of the folks that voted get it correct. It is actually 90% of the accepted data for summarization to occur. And if we could have our last polling question at the time, please. So why is the S record noted as sensitive data? Okay, we'll give that just a few more seconds. Okay, Ryan, if you could end the poll. Okay. And it looks like we had 93% get this one correct. That is wonderful. Yes, that is because it contains a PII. So thank you so much, Ryan, for doing our polling questions. Okay. So now we will take a 5-minute break. Then when we reconvene training, Steve will be presenting. So we will return at 11:02 Eastern Time. Thank you.
All right, everyone, welcome back. Hope everybody had a good break. right, let's get back into it. In this section, we're going to be covering the reporting workflows. Now, a lot of this section that we're going to be covering will dovetail with the information that you've already gotten in the first half of today, and we'll see how that coordinates. So the reporting timelines are really important to follow. So understanding the best way to report and correct your data is necessary. As you could see on this slide, we're going to now cover the ways in which you can report when and which records are required for reporting, how to report corrections, and confirming if your submission was received successfully. If you think you've submitted a file successfully and it actually rejected, it can cause a lot of confusion. So, all right. There are two ways in which two ways that you can report to RFS, and three methods. You can report via MGM, MyGinnieMay, and you can report via Secure FTP. We'll cover each of these. Via MGM, you can key entry in your loan and pool information into RFS in activity screens. The alternate there is that through MGM, you can report your data via file upload. Remember the P, the L, the S, and the V records that we just covered. Those would be uploaded in a file to RFS. And this is available through the file upload function within MGM. Now, as you can see there, we recommend that files less than 5 megabytes in size be utilized through the MGM file upload. If you have larger files, you can submit via Secure FTP. Now, Secure FTP is a secure channel for larger files that you would set up with GinnieMay. There's a little bit of technical setup that is required prior to the submission to make sure that you can submit via SFTP successfully, and there will be a little testing to make sure that works. So depending on the size of the file that you're sending, these three methods allow you to report your pool and loan level data to GinnieMay. What I would like you to do now on the annotation tool is put a sticker on the option that you use most frequently. So if we could have the annotation tool up. There we have it. Thank you. All right, so just let us know how you report your pool and loan level data. And it could be a combination. You could submit through file upload, and then you also do online entry. All right, quite a variety. All right, let's clear those. Thank you for voting. Okay, let's talk about reporting corrections. So GinnieMay, our layout for the pool, loan, sensitive, and various does not distinguish between an initial submission and a follow-on submission. So corrections are submitted in the same format as the initial reports. So the only way that RFS knows the difference between two files is that it takes them in order, and it processes files automatically as they're received, and there's no special identification for corrections. The last in becomes the data of record for the report. Okay, and RFS only retains the most recently submitted data. So if you said, well, I've submitted 5 files, I want to go back and use the data that I submitted in submission 2. Well, the only way to make that happen is to make a submission 6, reporting what you did at submission 2. Okay, so RFS only retains the last submitted data. Here's a question for you. If you use a service bureau, do you know when your final data is released? And what you could do now is you can do a thumbs up, thumbs down. You can vote if you do use a service bureau. So go ahead and let us know if you use a service bureau, if you know when their final data is released. Okay, there's some thumbs ups, some thumbs downs. Okay, that is good information to know. You should check with your service bureau to know when the final data is released. Okay, you can clear the thumbs now. So as I mentioned earlier, your submissions will have a functional acknowledgement, and this will let you know whether your submission was successfully received and accepted, or if it was rejected. All right, the two methods for doing this is you see the PA functional acknowledgement posted in eNotification. So for every submission that you submit, you'll get an eNotification with a functional acknowledgement. That functional acknowledgement will tell whether it was accepted or rejected. Also, if you look through MGM in the pool accounting exception feedback section called download, you can see on screen whether or not a certain file was accepted or rejected. So put a sticker on, with your annotation tool, put a sticker on the option that you prefer for your FAs, for your functional acknowledgements. Are you seeing these on screen on the right, or are you getting these in eNotification on the left? Okay, a smattering. Okay, both methods are acceptable, and the important thing is that you do get your FA. So please make sure that you're included in one of these two groups. That as soon as you submit your file, that you know if it was accepted or rejected. All right, thanks. You can clear the annotation. And the second method that I talked about there, through MGM, this is the method in which you would see your functional acknowledgements. Under Tools, you go to PAEF there in the red box. And the next screen is your exception feedback module. As I mentioned, there's the download. Once you click the download, then you get to the download section of exception feedback. You'll see there are plenty of different downloads. Issuer FA list is the first one in that blue bar, and that's the one that comes up initially. You put in your issuer ID, and the report period defaults to the current period, and you can see after hitting go that you have 3 files, and those 3 files have the issuer file name reported listed there, and you can see the file size, when it was received, the pool count and the loan count, and whether or not it was accepted or rejected at the end. Okay. Let's look at that middle file there, the one ending in 1202.9273. Was that accepted or rejected? Put a sticker on the accept or reject for that middle file. Very good. Excellent. Excellent. All right. In order to, Ryan, could you remove the stickers there? In order to look at the specifics of your submission, you would click on the file itself, the file name itself, which you can see is in blue, and that's a link. And what that will take you to is the file details for that file. And you can see there in the red box that the file was accepted. There's an A there, and it tells the details of the file down below. The counts in the submitted file for your pool, your loan, your sensitive, and your various. So you can see this is pretty typical. You've got your pool and loan counts. You want to make sure that those are fully submitted by the second business day. There are 56 sensitive and no various. Okay, so there were some corrections for sensitive and none for various. Okay. Now let's look at one that was rejected. Okay, this one was rejected, and you can see the file accept reject has an R. You can see the details down below. This was various. This was only various records, and there were 52 of those. And you can see the reject message. The length of the header record was not 11. Okay, so that meant that that file had an overall header record that wasn't the correct length, and that's why the file was rejected. So you have some feedback in terms of what happened to your file. All right. So then you'll have to go back and analyze what was wrong with your file so that you could submit another file as a replacement. Okay, so that's it for viewing functional acknowledgments. I will now turn it over to Debbie.
All right, thanks, Steve. Good morning, everybody. We are going to look at accessing the pull and loan screens. And you'll need to select Tools, then PASF. PASF opens to a screen where you have several options: pull record, loan record, quarterly verification, and remittance advice. The far right has a link to the user guide. And let's review the pull record. Raise your hand if you have noticed the plus sign on the bottom left. All right. Looks good. And if you could please clear the hands. When you view the pull screen, there's several links to additional data. All the links have a red box for this presentation only. Near the top of the screen, you can view the link to the 11710A. If you scroll down the screen and look at the bottom left, there are links to custodial bank information and pool transfer history. At the bottom of the screen is one of the most important items on the screen, the Save and Summarize button. Everybody say it with me, Save and Summarize. Please remember to select Save and Sum after entering pool and loan data. The Summarize part brings specific loan data to the pool record, like curtailments and liquidation information. When you select Custodial Bank, the screen displays the information reported on the pool record, bank account, and ABA number. The ABA field is also used in the custodial account verification process. If you select Pool Transfer History, the screen displays the date the pool was issued and if there's any pool transfer history. The pool transfer information was enhanced from 2020 to 2021, and we've really received some positive feedback from several issuers stating the pool transfer history screen has helped them when researching pools. Now let's look at the data you will see when you select View 11710A link. The data on the 11710A is issuer reported pool and loan records along with RFS calculated values and information reported at origination. Issuers are required to generate and maintain 11710A each month. The RFS 11710A is not considered a substitute for system-generated forms. There are 5 separate sections on the form. Section 1 is the loan information, its collections, prepaid and delinquent amounts, and delinquencies. Reported loan data rolls to Section 1. Delinquency info is calculated from the last installment date reported at loan level. If you ever have a discrepancy between in-house data and RFS summary, you can download all 11710As and review each pool in an Excel file from the PAEF module under the Download tab. Section 2 is a combination of reported loan data, calculated data from pool record, and origination data. Additional principal, liquidation, and other adjustments roll from the reported loan information. And Section 3 includes the reported security balance as reported on the pool record. And Section 4 shows calculated guarantee fee. And then Section 5 is bank account information. At the very bottom of the screen in the red box, there's a link to return to the pool record. This is another enhancement which we have received positive feedback from issuers. Each issuer is required to have 11710A for each pool every month. I will now turn it over to Melanie.
Thank you, Debbie. Hello, everyone. Let's see. Let's now review the loan record. Within the loan record here, in the blue toolbar, you'll notice links to access the loan list, the pull list, edit loan, and liquidate loan. There are links to view the pull activity and the loan master data for the loan. So the top half of the screen here displays origination data such as the loan's OPB, the original principal balance, the amount securitized, the loan interest rate, the FIC, which is fixed installment control, the loan P&I, the first payment date, and the maturity date. You'll also see the borrower name and address displayed. And on the bottom half of the screen here, this shows loan activity during the reporting period, the current month's collections, the LPI, which is the last paid installment, and the closing balance for the loan. Let's see, at the very bottom of the screen is the Save button. Again, anytime you update and save the loan record, please also go to the pull record and save sum. By saving and summarizing the pull, this will cause the loan level unscheduled principal and/or your liquidations to move to the pull record. At the bottom left of the screen is a link to the various data. If you've reported various data for the loan, you can review the data by selecting the plus/minus link on the far left. You may also view this screen if you have suspended various data. Okay. So let's see, to liquidate a loan in RFS, within the loan screen, you'll click on the liquidate loan link in the dark blue toolbar. Okay, under liquidation activity, on the left-hand side, you'll input the last installment date, select one of the 6 removal reasons from the drop-down box, and enter the actual removal date. On the right-hand side of the screen, you'll enter the liquidation interest and the liquidation principal. Once you enter the liquidation principal, the liquidation balance will auto-populate, as RFS will take the opening UPB and subtract the liquidation principal. Okay, so make sure you click Save at the bottom of the Liquidate Loan screen. Once you've saved the data on the loan screen, then navigate to the Pull screen and click the Save and Summarize Pull button. It's very important. By saving and summarizing the pull, RFS moves the liquidations in full, FIC, and the liquidation balance over to the liquidations field on the pull screen. This allows the issuer to pass through the liquidation funds to the security holders. Okay. This also lowers the pull RPB for the current reporting month. Now, using a thumbs up or the thumbs down, please give me a thumbs up if there are 6 valid Ginnie Mae removal reasons. Give me a thumbs down if there are not 6 valid removal reason codes. So a thumbs up if there are 6 valid Ginnie Mae removal reasons. Thumbs down if there are not 6 valid removal reasons. Great. All thumbs up. Thank you very much. 6 is correct.
And also, Melanie, can you put yourself on mute for a second? Thank you, because it echoes. So yes, and Dorina said, although they are adding a number 7 soon. Yes, there is an updated APM 23-05 that came out where we will be adding a number 7 soon. Oh, I like your comment, Lorraine. Yeah, you thought it was a trick question. Yes, but at the moment, there is still only 6. But you guys are correct, and thank you for reading the APMs. That is awesome. So yes, so in the future, there will be 7. So we will have to update our training information at that time. Okay, go ahead, Melanie. Thank you.
Go ahead, Melanie. Thank you. Okay, good deal. Thank you, Christy. Thank you. Okay, so you may wonder how the liquidation interest and principal are calculated on the Liquidate Loan screen. Here is a sample liquidation record, including the loan's amortization schedule. So all Ginnie Mae MBS loans are schedule, meaning the issuer must pass through scheduled interest and scheduled principal, whether you collect the payment or not. So all liquidated loans are amortized 1 month greater than the current reporting period. Okay, so this reduces the liquidation principal balance by the scheduled principal, which is included on the pool record. The total interest due and the total principal remitted amounts at the bottom of the liquidation record are essential for the Liquidate Loan screen in RFS. Okay. The MBS guide requires that issuers maintain a liquidation schedule, also known as the 11-710E, the HUD 11-710E. So for each loan that is removed from a pool, you should have a HUD 11-710E. This is for audit purposes. Most servicing systems will produce a similar liquidation report like the one you see here. But if your servicing system does not generate a liquidation report, you should manually complete one for liquidations during the reporting month. As a reminder, in 2020, there was an RFS enhancement, which gives the issuers the opportunity to download a liquidation report from RFS. Okay, and this is to assist you with your balancing. The liquidation report is available in PAEF, which is Pool Accounting Exception Feedback, within the Download tab. Okay, and I will now turn it over to Christy.
Thank you so much, Melanie. And yes, Dorena, I did see your other comment about, yes, we are also adding a few more fields to the loan record also in the future from that APM 23-05. So thank you for bringing that up. Okay, so would you please raise your hand if you use the pull list function? Wonderful. Seeing some hands. That is great. So Ryan, if you could clear the hands, please. So issuers are able to view each pool number, pool type, loan status, and loan count. You can access the list when you're in the pool record by selecting Pool List. You would enter the lowest numeric pool number so the complete list will show. If you have alphanumeric pool numbers, you would enter the lowest pool number that starts with an A. You can select or click on the pool status to view the loan record. To view the pool record. To view the loan record, you would actually click on the pool number, which honestly, I kind of always have to play with that to remember which one will take me to the pool record and to the loan. So you can view the loan list when you're in the loan record by selecting the loan list in the red box. You will need to enter the pool number to receive the loan numbers. You can select or click on the ULID to view the loan record. This screen shows the activity for a single-family loan list. I picked a pool that had 4 loans to show you a good example of the loan list. You would click on the ULID to view the record. The loan screen captures individual loan activity. It reports collections, reversals, or adjustments. Mentioned earlier, the reported LPI, which is the last installment date, determines if the loan will calculate as delinquent. The calculation is not determined on the ending loan balance. The top red box shows the exception message stating the loan has not been reported, which is the RFS 204. The red box around the activity during reporting period now has data reported in last installment date, loan T&I, and installments. Please remember to save your loan data. The pull activity screen contains fields the issuer reports, fields that are rolled to the pull record from reported loan activity and system calculated fields. The top red box shows exception message stating the pull has not been reported, which is the RFS 111 that we spoke about earlier today. Every pull must have a reported closing security balance, even if this is the last month of reporting. You always need to report the T&I and P&I balances. If funds for the loan payments were collected by the borrower, you should also be reporting a service fee. And as Debbie mentioned earlier, please always save and sum the reported data. We have mentioned several times to ensure that you save all loan records after any change and save and sum the pull records after any pull or loan changes. We've had single-family issuers that manually corrected over 100 pull and loan exceptions. The issuer saved the loans but did not save and summarize the pull records. They were very lucky as they did this on the third business day, and they had time to correct the critical exceptions before the fourth business day, 7 p.m. Eastern Time deadline. Another important enhancement was merging the separate save and summarize function on the pull record. Again, we have received feedback from the issuers that was very positive, so that we didn't have a separate save and sum button on the pull record. This is the download tab from the PAEF exception feedback. It shows 5 enhancements. Can you, if we could turn on the annotation tool, please, Ryan? And if you could place a sticker on any or all of these downloads that you have used. Wonderful. Yeah, looks like we've got a lot of people using all of them. That is wonderful. That's great. I really hope that these enhancements are helping, the issuers, balance, or for audit purposes, just for anything that's out there. So wonderful. Thank you so much. Okay, Ryan, if you could post our next polling question before we move on to our group activity. Okay. So when do you summarize a loan record? Okay, so think about everything that we just talked about. Does the loan record actually have a summarize button? Or does it only have a save button? Right, we'll give this a few more seconds here. Okay. Ryan, if you could end the poll, please. Thank you. So actually the correct answer is the third one. It is a trick question. because you would save in Sum a pull record. The loan record only has a save button. So if you could post our next question, please. Okay, so which screen can you locate the bank account information? If we could get lots of participation, that would be great. Okay, we'll give it a few more seconds. Okay, Ryan, if you could end the poll. Okay, so the correct answer is the 54%, the poll activity. That is where you can see the bank account information at the bottom of the poll screen. And Ryan, if we could post our last question. So which records are reported each month? So this is kind of a combination of what Steve and I talked about at the beginning of today's session.
Actually, it's which records are required each month.
Well, that's right. Yes. Thank you, Steve. So we can give it a few more seconds. Okay, and Ryan, if you would close the poll. So the correct answer are the pull and loan records. Those are the two records that are required each month. You would only report sensitive or various if there was a change. Okay, Ryan, if we could clear the polling question. Thank you. Okay, so we will now analyze an exception feedback download as our group activity today. When you're working with your exception feedback, Appendix 619 defines the exception feedback severity level, exception code, and exception message. All of our Ginnie Mae issuer support team keeps Appendix 619 handy. You know, some of us have it printed. I think some of us have it, you know, saved on our desktop as a PDF to assist in answering issuer questions regarding the exceptions. Okay, so this is intended to be a group discussion, you know, so like Ryan mentioned earlier, you know, if you could unmute yourself if you would like to answer any of the questions verbally, or you can type your responses in the chat box, you know, whichever is fine. So row 1 displays the column headings. So you have the ability, if you download the exceptions, to sort it, you know, based on whatever your needs are. It does list, the list is saved whenever you first download it by severity code. So both the code and the field name indicates whether it is a pull or a loan exception. This example was downloaded on the first business day, when only one file had been submitted. So our first question to the group is, which alerts would need to be addressed first? Yeah, we have some people typing in the chat box. Our E-level and critical. That would be correct. The RFS 111s. It's a great one, David. Okay, so yes, so the RFS 111s is showing that the pools are not reported, and the RFS 204s are showing where the loans are not reported. So those should be the ones that are addressed first. The reason is for 100% of pool and loan data is required to be reported by the deadline of 7 p.m. Eastern Time on the second business day. So second, you could work the other error and critical exceptions prior to the fourth business day, 7 p.m. Eastern Time deadline. And then the best practice would be third to work your remaining high, medium, and low alerts prior to the 10th business day, 7 p.m. Eastern Time deadline. Okay, so next we're going to combine question 2 and 3. So how would you query your critical alerts, and what steps are involved in addressing them? So if we have someone where their microphone is available, you are welcome to unmute and answer. Okay.
Chrissy, could you repeat the question one more time? We have a few people that are asking for you to repeat your question.
Okay. Sure. So that would be how would you clear the critical alerts, and what steps are involved in addressing each of the alerts? Okay. So I see Dorina says pull up the system records and compare what you've reported. That's good. Depending on the code, pool 104s aren't cleared the same way as the pool 452s and so on. Nicole, under the download exceptions to query, update the information, save. Yep, if you're saving a loan record, or you would save and sum the pool, analyze and correct the reporting, save and sum, prioritize criticals that could impact the pool 452s, starting with the RFS 204s. That's a good one, David. Query exception severity first, investigate and correct, update the information based on column H. Those are all wonderful. Thank you. Right, and it doesn't matter if it's a critical high or low. Alerts are cleared, by the following the same process. You would determine the outstanding alert, if it's a pull or a loan record, review it in RFS, read the exception message, just like you guys said earlier, compare the data that you've reported to your internal servicing system, make sure that it's correct, determine the correct value, and report it in RFS to make sure it's the correct information. And you would just, continue working down the list to get them all cleared by the deadline. And then, like multiple people have said, make sure that you save the loan record and save and sum the pull record. And, also not all exceptions, may clear every month. That's another thing. And then we do have the annotation tool on. So could everyone put a sticker on the exception code that shows a missing pool? Wonderful. Yes, those RFS 111s. That is correct. And then which exception code indicates the ending pool balance needs to be reviewed? Wonderful. Yes, those pool 452s. That is correct. That is one of the main critical exceptions for the 4th business day, 7 p.m. Eastern Time deadline. Okay. Oh, wonderful. So Melanie, Debbie, Steve, do you guys have anything to add?
No, I think that covered it.
I agree. Lots of good information.
Yes, indeed. Thank you all for your participation. Great session.
Thank you guys so very much. If anyone has any other questions, you can type them in the chat box or unmute yourself and ask. And then I did want to ask if any Ginnie Mae account executives would like to provide any comments.